Hey guys, welcome to BP, the Bible Perspective. Can white people speak to black people about race? Can white people speak to the black experience? The answer is, of course they can, if they speak truth. Now, before we get into it, don't forget to like and share this video and subscribe to BP, the Bible Perspective. And as always, if you have a thought or comment, add it to the comment section below. All comments are welcome. Now, of late, I've been seeing a lot of discussions on CRT, critical race theory. My focus is going to be really the response to critical race theory. And this video really is kind of an introduction, kind of a seed to, I'm going to be doing a much deeper dive, again, into the response. Just like, for example, there's the 1619 project. I'm going to be doing, again, what is the response to that? And I find the response troubling. Now, a 1619 project was, again, an academic. It was a editorial piece primarily by a lady by the name of Hannah Nicole. And it seemed like white folks got really upset over that. Well, it basically charged the beginning of the United States in 1619 with the first landing of the slaves. Now, I'll tell you, there are some points that I certainly would take issue with. And one of the probably most contested point is the notion that the American Revolutionary War was fought over the issue of slavery. I kind of thought it was just a bad point to make. I understand why she made it. I just disagree with it. In other words, it basically comes down to someone said, we found a report that this is what someone said they were fighting for. Of course, none of the people who were fighting for that, the leaders and all that, for the American Revolutionary War, said this is why we were fighting. Bad point. But it also gave reason why people were able to attack the peace. The reason why I'm saying that I'm going to respond to the response is that you use those points to ignore, the 1619 landing of slaves on this soil. And then subsequently the 15 generations of slaves born on American soil. And then in 1776 left slaves. Well, critical race theory kind of looks at a lot of these, the racism in the nation, and basically says, okay, the sin of America, race and racism. Now it gets into some other things, and remember, as I said, this is an academic. So my question is, why are white Christians really fighting this? Well, one of the reasons is that to them, churches are talking about critical race theory or using some of the principles of critical race theory to try to heal the nation. And again, my point is, can we go back to the original question? Can white people speak to race? And here's what I'm going to say again. Yes, they can. They most certainly can if they speak truth. And right off, the response to critical race theory is a faulty response because, hey, Christians, this is an academic that came out of a university. So why are you even if you wanted to say that Christians who follow some of the principles of critical race theories are wrong, it's an academic. Just like the 1619 project was an editorial piece. But it wasn't a Christian perspective. It didn't come from a Christian's perspective. So if you really want to address the issue of race, white Christians, and I think you should, I think you can. Why? Because we have the truth, God's word, the Bible. But that is the problem. You are responding to critical race theory as opposed to addressing race in the church. As Christians, we should do a deep dive and say, how is it that 15 generations of slaves were left slaves in 1776, when the cry of this nation was, we believe that all men are created equal by their creator and granted inalienable rights. We need to ask the question, how is it that every denomination in America split over the issue of race and slavery? We need to ask the question why, after they eventually reconcile, one denomination stood firm in their racism, the Southern Baptists, which is the largest Protestant denomination today, with some 16 million strong. During the time of the civil rights, Southern Baptists, guess what? 11 million. And were staunch in their racism. We need to ask the question, why is it that you could be a Ku Klux Klan and still be a Southern Baptist pastor? So if we're going to deal with, we have to, let me throw this in too for good measure. We have to ask the question, how is it that universities such as Bob Jones University, and watch this, and even after the passage, the 64 and 65 passage of the Civil Rights Bill, effectively ending legal racism in America. That's 1965, y'all. However, the greater shame is that Christian denominations went far, 20, 25, 30 years after even that passage. We have to, so if we're going to deal with race, we have to say, how is it possible? How is, and I say is, not was, because it still is, the problem still exists. But how is it possible that race is still a factor in the Christian church? The problem with just attacking the 1619 Project or critical race theory is that you're not dealing with the racism that still exists today. So yes, white Christians can speak on race, but speak the truth. Just like white people spoke the truth during the civil rights movement, but speak the truth. We're not speaking the truth, and that's the problem. Look, that's my perspective. If you have a thought or comment, add it to the comment section below. Don't forget to like and share this video and subscribe to BP, the Bible Perspective. Till next time, I'll see you then.